Hello everybody and welcome to your Libra August 2022 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant. For those of you who are stopping by for the first time and for the subscribers, well, you know that there are no advertisements during this content, so you get to enjoy the experience unhindered by interruptions. And speaking of experiences, I've had the great pleasure of doing a number of one-on-one clairvoyant readings for some of your Libran sisters and brothers over the course of the last month. And if you're curious as to what would be involved in that, or just curious anyway, have a look at the information that's in the description box below. But anyway, now let's take 5 cards, shall we? Glorious summer in the Northern Hemisphere. I hope everyone's having the chance to get outside and enjoy the warmth. North America, Mexico, Europe. What's this? The Healer of Discs. Geez, that's a beautiful looking card. Healing of the planet. Pretty appropriate at this time of year, don't you think? Yeah, and of course, also in the Northern Hemisphere, hi to everybody in the Philippines and in Singapore. Well, it's always warm there, isn't it, in Singapore? Same as in Malaysia and in Indonesia. And hi to everybody in India in particular, and also those of you in Pakistan. Great to see you each month. Now let's see the second card for this. Of course, those in South Africa, New Zealand and Australia, it's winter, so everyone's rugged up. There's the 7 of Cups. The Drama Queen. Do you happen to know any drama queens? Let's have a look here. Creative differences, the 2 of Swords. Well, we shall see what these have to say when I put my mind to it in just 1 second. And here is the Wheel of Fortune. You'll be familiar with that as a major arcana, I'm sure. And finally, Strength right after it. That's very fortuitous. Well, look, why don't you, as is normal, come sit down here next to me. We'll have a good, close look at the cards together while I do your reading for you. There now, I think you can see those. Let's start with the first card that you drew, which is Healing the Planet. The Healer of Discs. I think there might be more to it than that, but let's have a look. Let's see what the painting at least has to say to us, shall we? Well, look, in the painting, we see the planet Earth rising over the horizon. Seeing the sparkling blue jewel that we live on seems to elicit tremendous awe and gratitude, just as it did, no doubt, for the astronauts who travelled above the Earth. Now, there are dolphins that you can see here. Dolphins not only in the oceans, but also in the night sky, suggesting that dolphins are also present in other dimensions. This card, I think, can be used as an invitation to evoke this consciousness. But what I really am getting with this for you, for this month, in the position that it's in, is that of fruitfulness, physical nourishment for you, and overcoming a barren past. I think you will be ambitious, affectionate and kind, very charming. People are going to be captivated by your charm, but I think you'll also be quite practical, and it's very good for those in domestic situations here. Now, I say ambitious, but I think that this is a time for you to work with instinct and intuition rather than the intellect. Now, I'm not saying that you're not intellectual or that you're not smart. What I am saying is, don't over-intellectualize things during this time, but rather take on board a sort of a quiet, hard-working, practical, sensible mode of operations. Now, people represented by this card possess, I think, the finest of the quieter qualities, but they can, in a reticent and unassuming fashion, actually be quite sexy. And it's possible that they can also get into wine and spirits, whiskies and things like that. It's almost as if they can't, or they can only realize themselves and their essential happiness by getting out of themselves. So keep a practical, compassionate, nurturing attitude to others and your own circumstances, and go with the flow during this time. Now, this image here, the energy here, represents health and diet for me. And so these are things that you need to be aware of, and go forward quietly without an overt attack upon existing institutions, whether you happen to agree with them or not. Now, I think that you have passed through a dry stretch on your journey, and you have now arrived in more fruitful surroundings. Now you can rest and devote some attention to yourself and to your physical needs. Ask yourself this: in what ways have you neglected your body, your outer self, and do you indulge yourself too much? Now devote more attention to your health and physical beauty than you have until now. But when I say that, I'm not saying that you are not physically beautiful. I mean, it is a fact that Libran women, for example, are the most beautiful in the zodiac, and Libran men are very magnetic. But say this to yourself: I give my body the gift of loving attention. It gives me the gift of life, energy, and joy in living and health. Now, what is next? Well, you secondly drew this card, which is the Seven of Cups, and what's its title? Drama Queen. Drama Queen. Well, it may not be you, but you probably know a few drama queens, as I said in the introduction just a moment ago. Let's have a look at this. What does the painting tell us? Well, in this painting, it's really a spin-off, isn't it, of the fairy tale of Snow White. That will be familiar to people in the Western audience, maybe not so much for those in the Eastern audience, but probably so. Actually, in India it will be familiar, and in the Philippines as well, and Malaysia. Now, when the queen is not mirrored in the way that she wants, she becomes murderously jealous. This is, of course, an extreme reaction that comes with the mistaken feeling that the only way to be loved and admired is to be the best. The drama queen does not know that she is enough as she is, and that she can be loved in her faults and her frailties as well. Now, in the Suit of Cups, I suppose we can look at strategies really used to try to get our emotional needs met. Now, this energy is about dramatization, making things larger than life. Now, I suppose the psychologists would refer to this as the hysterical clinging strategy. The hysterical part is the amplifying of emotion, and the clinging part is the underlying desire to avoid separation. Now, although hysterical is generally considered a bad word, there is nothing wrong with being expressive or flamboyant. The problem arises when you must get theatrical in order to be seen or heard. Indeed, this is part of the underlying basis of that hysterical clinging strategy. When you know you are loved and accepted as you are, you don't need to put on anything extra. When you get dramatic, it is often like a child pleading, "Don't leave, stay here and watch me." You want something to be seen and mirrored. Well, part of the healing is to cultivate a compassionate witness. You can notice what you're wanting and hold this in a loving way. You can also learn to be more straightforward, to ask for what you want without having to whip up your feelings or exaggerate your needs. Now, this popular, well-known saying of drama queen is a good description for someone using that hysterical strategy of drama, because it reflects a desire to be treated in a special way, perhaps to feel important. And one way we can feel bigger than others is to make our drama bigger. If what is happening is bad, it is the most tragic anyone could experience. If good, it is the best and most wonderful thing imaginable. There is nothing ordinary for or about the drama queen, as you would know, except the underlying needs, of course, which are universal. Now, I think because this card has come up, this is asking you to actually look at those sort of tendencies that we've just been talking about, remembering that they may appear in a subtler form than I've described. Do you sometimes have to make things bigger than they are in order to be heard? Do you find yourself exaggerating to make a better story or to feel more interesting or alive? And if you do find yourself in this pattern and are not comfortable with this, there are ways to work with it. One is to feel what motivates your behavior and deal with the underlying needs. Another is to become a better audience for yourself, holding even the smallest feelings with respect and compassion as well as objectivity. Another strategy, I suppose, that can be helpful in interpersonal situations, your dealings with other people, is to notice when you are dramatizing and lighten it up by making it funny. When you can see the drama as drama, you're not caught up in it anymore. Then life can settle down and you can enjoy the simple things again. Now, I think the next card was this central card of the Two of Swords. And it is talking about creative differences. Well, what does that bring to mind for you? Creative differences. Let's have a look at the painting, shall we? Here we go. Creative differences indeed. Now, this painting portrays a man and a woman, each holding a circular shield. You see these shields there. Now, where the two circles come together, there is a place of overlap, and you can see that in this area here. That's where they overlap, don't they? And that creates a shape of its own. This coming together of the two, forming a third, is also reflected, I think, in this twilight sky, the joining of day and night. Now, with the number 2, you have the beginning of differentiation, really, things being different. And therefore, you get differences. Duality and polarity arise. There is a dynamism inherent in duality that isn't present before this. It's not present before the two. The two can dance together, they can play and fight and make love. With 2, there is creative fiction. Now, balanced between the numbers 1 and 3, the 2 are pulled in both directions. The inherent drive towards wholeness creates a magnetic attraction between the 2, drawing them together to recreate unity, which is represented by the 1, and the dynamic interplay of the 2. Well, then that makes space for the birth of new forms, which is represented by the number 3. Now, this energy is reminding you that you can move beyond an orientation where duality means divisiveness and appreciate how 2 can come together in harmony and beauty. This could be 2 points of view, 2 ideas, 2 energy fields. It is about 2 adding to each other rather than cancelling each other out. When you hold this perspective during an argument, for example, it is not a matter of who is right and who is wrong. Rather, It's about seeing what part of the truth each carries. Now, this can lead to seeing a bigger truth than either could see alone. The ability to see something new or see in a new way is graphically represented by the center here. That almost looks like an iris of an eye with a pupil inside of it, symbolizing the combined vision that can come in a collaborative work. Now, when you get this card, the energy is saying that it is a good time to look at how you are relating to differences, especially in the mental realm, because it's swords, remember. Are you stuck in a polarized position or open to other points of view? Can you let differences be enriching rather than threatening? Can they open the way for new ideas and creative solutions? Now, notice what happens in the space where the circles overlap. This is the realm of creative differences. Now, there are two left, I think, these two major arcana, and they follow each other, the 10 and 11. That's how you drew them. So let's see what there is, shall we? This is flowing with the change of all things. Well, let's have a look at the painting, as we do, don't we? Now, in this painting, I think it portrays the unfoldment of life in both the human and the natural world. The ribbon spiraling around here and outward, it has a stream of animals within it. It portrays life as a changing stream, evolutionary in nature. Did you know that the Navajo people in North America call nature changing woman? And you get a sense of this from looking at the picture, don't you? The two figures, a younger woman who's at the top here, and an older woman, you see her down the bottom here, and they are both within the wheel. Well, they represent the changes within a human lifespan. Now, the buffaloes, which you can see on the horizon here, see those buffaloes? I think they symbolize your spirit guides watching over you as you journey. Now, I think that because you have drawn this, and in the position that it is, underneath this healer of discs, I think it indicates that a significant change is taking place, or just peeking over the horizon. One chapter is ending, and a new one beginning. And I think there's a change in your luck coming along well. And it's a change of good luck. Things are turning out for the better now. It's a good turning point for you. Actually, if miracles are not happening, something is wrong. Now, the most appropriate form or posture to take, I think, during such a period of this for you is one of openness, trust, and surrender. You might, for example, lie on the ground in an open position with your palms up, repeating an affirmation such as, "I open to and embrace the lessons that come to me. I know that I am held and guided, and that this unfoldment serves my soul's purpose." Now listen to the fears that come up and hold them with compassion. Remember that many of your attempts to control are simply ways of trying to manage fear. I found that it is always helpful to stay current with your feelings and listen for guidance. A personal journal is one place to do this. It can provide you with a temporary base and perhaps prevent you from being blindsided because you weren't paying attention. Physical practices like yoga or other exercise systems and daily structures can also help provide grounding. Now, looking at your life right now, can you identify a change that is happening? What is your attitude towards it? What helps you relax and open to change, and how do you resist it? Remember that even positive change can be stressful, so be gentle with yourself. You can ask friends for support, as well as ask for support from the many different parts of you. And any part that is not going along is slowing you down. Now, although this can create delays, ultimately it will not stop the turning wheel of fortune. That takes us finally, I think, to this card here, which is strength. Moving from the core. Well, let's have a look. See what it has to say. See what you can make of this. This is what I see here. Now the woman, now look at this woman here. Her bird wings, I think they represent the strength of her animal energy, which she has made friends with. The ascending snake that you see here, that depicts primal energy, and the descending snake, cosmic energy. Now both these energies circulate within her. Being present in the lower energy centers is part of her strength. When you are cut off or not present in the lower part of the body, it manifests as weakness or an energetic split. Now, strength is, at the end of the day, potency, power. It is the ability to meet what is difficult and to act in alignment with your values. When you speak from truth and are in alignment with that truth, others feel it, you know. Your presence is like a big mountain, just like this pyramid that's sitting there. And others can sense your solidity and your integrity. Now, this mountain-like presence is very similar to the pyramid, as I say, that's in the card there in the background. The pyramid actually is the most stable physical form. Having a stable base like this allows you to extend yourself in daring ways. Now, much of the attention in this painting is captured by the woman in the foreground, isn't it? Well, she is belly dancing, I suppose, which is the perfect expression of a more complementary model of strength. Belly dancing is a demanding discipline. I've never done it myself, but I do know women who have, and they tell me it's a great workout. And it's executed in a fluid way. It combines a toned body, which is the more masculine principle of form, with the more feminine principle of surrender. Sometimes you have the idea that being centered means remaining very still, but as in my example of belly dancing, being centered is a powerful place from which to move, to dance, and to act. And as I have said, action that is in alignment with your inner core sets out, advertises a sense of strength and integrity. Now, because you have drawn this card and in the position that it's in, it's saying that this is now a time to get in touch with your strength. It may be strength on any or a combination of levels: animal strength, physical strength, mental, emotional, or spiritual strength. Is there a particular area where strength is needed right now? Are there places in your life where you feel off-center? Where are you in alignment with core values and where are you not? Where do you need to speak your truth or act with strength and courage? This is a good time for you to take up new physical activities, particularly ones that focus on moving from the core. These may include forms of dance and expressive movement, martial arts, particularly for both men and women, yoga for both men and women, women, and some of the newer exercise forms such as Pilates. Now, although meditative body-mind centering techniques are good, you also want to find out what it is like to move from this center. And when your sense of this has grown strong, you recognize it, not just in the body, but in all of your activities. Well, what a very interesting spread of cards for you. Good job, you. That's the way it is this month. Well, what a fascinating reading. I'm sure you will agree. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed providing it to you. I really look forward to doing your reading each month, you know. I really do. Truly, I do. And, you know, I send you some good energy, the subscribers, throughout the month, which you will feel from time to time. So don't worry, I'm always thinking of you. You are never alone. Now, until I see you again, remember one thing, and one thing is this, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.